Yo, what is up, Battle Union fans, and welcome to the Power Rankings number 4, actually, but post week 3. And you're here with your two analysts, myself, Schady,
and myself, Shroomraver.
And if you don't know what Power Rankings are, we explained that in the very first video. I'm just gonna go over it real quick. Basically, we just give our opinions on how strong we see the competition, how strong we see the players. This is not a league table, this is completely opinionated, so if you have a different opinion, then that's cool, that's nice. Leave it down in the comments and tell us what you think. I want to see some more Power Rankings, again, I said it last week, but they're fun and very interesting. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. If you want more, like a better description, I guess, then go to the very first one and be happy. But yeah, our opinions, and this was an interesting week, a lot of things happened.
Yeah, some actually quite unexpected results,
indeed,
which have made the power rankings very interesting indeed.
Yes.
As we've said before, we're sort of starting to align a bit more. Things are looking a bit more similar. But this week there are a few spanners in the works thrown in, which have, as I say, given some very intriguing results. So we'll start at number 12 on our team list. Who do you have at number 12 on your list, Charlie?
Unfortunately, I still have Jedi from the Highland Houndooms. He got his first win, and he improved a lot. Like, he listened to us. He had a defog, he had stealth rocks, he had volt switch on his scarf, Rotom. All fine dandy, I like that. But that was his first good performance. While the people above him had at least 2, or at least had more solid performances, in my opinion. But it's very close. It was very, very close to decide. Just in general, the entire power rankings were really difficult for me this week. I don't like the SD. I like SD Sceptile in general. I think it's a cool set, but I don't think it's good against Squirt's team, Josh's team, whatever. He has a Manibus, which takes even a +5, 6 hit, whatever, 4, 6, whatever you get with SDs. It's a Manibus. It will take it easily. There's a Porygon 2, which takes a +2 Drain Punch because it's a Porygon 2 and will Ice Beam you and you're dead. So yeah, I'm not a fan of that set. Probably a special standard dot nuke set, nuke style set would have helped a bit more. But you know, he improved. He listened to the people around him. He had Stealth Rocks, a Defogger, and it was cool. But Brick Break on Metagross, no. It's not gonna do anything to a Porygon 2 because it's a Porygon 2. And Kecleon switches types anyway and dies to every physical hit ever. So Brick Break really is a weak move. There is a slim chance of Josh having dual screens, but I don't think it's worth running Brick Break, especially since Jedi had defensive mons to stall out potentially dual screens. You know, Medium Match would have been better because it's almost the same base power as super effective Brick Break, and it has a good chance to give you an attack boost. And Steel Stab is just good because otherwise Mew would have walled him. Those are the bad things I have to say. And yeah, but Jedi is improving. I can definitely, if he keeps that up, which I hope he can, he's gonna get rid of the last place spot soon. Moving on to your number 12.
Yeah, I mean Jedi's already gotten out of that last spot for me. I actually don't have him at 12. For the first time this season, Jedi is not at 12 on a list. I actually have his opponent, Squirtacular, and the Kentucky Kecleons at 12.
Perfect. He's my number 11, and Jedi is your number 11, I think, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, we sort of mirror each other there.
That's awesome.
You know, by Josh's own admission, his team building was a bit poor. He second-guessed himself a lot, and unfortunately it did come back to bite him. He was looking into, I believe, HP Grass on the Megazard, which would have been nice.
Giga Drain on Mew as well.
Giga Drain on Mew, and I believe Superpower as well.
I saw his team before, and he changed it.
Yeah, and those second guessing, that's the thing. Go with your gut instinct. When you have your sets and you think you're sorted, don't second guess yourself. Just go for it, because
just do it.
As our Lord and Savior Shia LaBeouf has said, just do it.
We got to meme a little bit in here, you know.
You do. And you know, looking at the rest of his team, Raikou, Calm Mind, not sure.
No.
I mean, you've got... I actually wasn't sure about bringing Raikou in the first place. I think something like a dedicated Nidoking could have been better. Maybe even the Frostlass, I don't know. But either way, I don't think Subcom Mine was the way to go. I think Schady will agree with me when he goes over Josh's team. There were some very interesting things. Power Herb Solar Beam, very cool.
Yes.
We like Power Herb Solar Beam, and it was only Jedi's severe grass type paranoia that forced him to switch out. He was expecting the grass knot. As it was far more dangerous than grass knot. But you know, Josh, as we said, he's played some good games. This one was a little bit, to quote Schady, it was a little bit, yeah. To quote Schady. But you know, Josh, as we said, he's played 2 very good games. He's had a little bit of a falling off here against Jedi, but there's a reason he started higher up in the power rankings. We highly rate him as a player. He's just had some unfortunate games, and you know, I look forward to seeing him, you know, fight his corner, get himself back in contention.
And yeah, as I said, he's my number 11, so I can just continue talking. Maybe it's my fault that he ran Subcom Mind, because I said that would have destroyed Frito last week, but that's not something you should listen to, because it's a completely different game. Maybe Specs Raikou, maybe Southwest, maybe Life Orb, maybe Expert would have been a lot better this game, because HP Grass will kill a Quagsire because it's a Quagsire. Zygarde was on the bench. Like I said, that needs to Mega Evolve, and with the Volt Switch you can easily keep up the momentum. So that it can't, so you know, you can still Volt Switch around unless Quagsire, but you can kill that. Yeah, you get my point. So Subcom Mind was really not the greatest idea. Aurasphere and T-Bolt are just not enough for Jedi's team, because you know, Sceptile can live a thing. Aurasphere
Sceptile can live a thing, ladies and gents.
While being immune to the T-Bolt. So can Quagsire, but so you know, especially since Quagsire is unaware 90% of the time, 99%. T-Wave on Porygon 2, I'm not sure why. I feel like Toxic would have been a lot better. I honestly, I'm just gonna look at Jedi's team real quick, shamelessly. Why I guess for the Volcarona?
It can only be for the Volcarona. I mean, he's got a couple of immunities and some very slow things.
Yeah, Terrakion was on the bench. I guess Sigilyph, but that could just run a Flame Up anyway, so Toxic would have been better, in my opinion. That's just how it is. I like the Mew. Offensive Rock Polish Mew? Cool.
Yeah.
What? No, it wasn't Rock Polish. Rock Polish was last time. Offensive Mew with Taunt. I like that. He just didn't have Giga Drain anymore. He was very underprepared for the Quagsire. Heavily relied on his Solar Beam guy, which just led Quagsire to kind of be a pain in the ass for him.
Yeah.
Also, he didn't make enough predictions. He made to save play way too often. Every time Zard came in against Metagross, well, it was twice, but still, he went for Flare Blitz. Why? Jedi has no reason to say, and there's a Quagsire in the back, which is a safe switch unless there's HP Grass, which there wasn't, but you know. So you should just made a prediction maybe once at least in that matchup, you know. And yeah, it's just I don't know. I'm not happy with Josh's performance, honestly. I still love you, Josh. But don't hate me. But yeah, that's why Josh moved down. He just, I don't know.
Yeah. Alright.
Yeah, moving on.
So that's your number 11. My number 11, Jedi Cardet. Jedi is off the bottom spot.
Hey!
Well played indeed, getting his first win. There were a lot of things I liked. I think he was wise not to bring the T-Spikes on Skuntank, because he's rocking Defog of his own. That's his only way to remove hazards. And, you know, the possibility of Nidoking or Scolipede, they don't mind Toxic Spikes at all. And a few things that fly above the ground. So, you know, first up, good decision not to bring T-Spikes. I would have liked to have seen Taunt. I'd have liked to have seen Taunt on Skuntank, and then maybe Toxic on the Quagsire instead, because Josh had a lot of things on his team that do not want to take a Taunt. You've got Mandibuzz, Scolipede, you've got Frostlass, P2. They don't want to take a Taunt. So I thought that would have been a good decision to have on the Skuntank. As it is, it worked out well enough for him. Volt Switch, Scarf Rotom. Yes. Finally. I know Jedi is not a fan of Volt Switch.
Which makes no sense because it's one of the best moves in the game.
I'm not sure why. Maybe I'll ask him about it. Jedi, when you watch this, let me know
exactly.
why is it that you don't... I'm genuinely interested. Why it is that you're not a fan of Volt Switch.
Maybe he needs to
But,
put
you know,
another
it worked
Rotom
out in
form
this
to be a fan of it. Get it? Rotom
There
form?
it
I'm
is.
funny. Let's ignore
Hashtag
that.
shardy puns. Let's get it trending. Let's get it going.
Oh, God,
The
that's
Mega
terrible.
Sceptile set, you know, interesting, but not the best of choices.
For this matchup, at least. Yeah.
Yeah, he dealt with a very big threat in the form of Raikou very well. He had the Snorlax for that, the Assault Vest, very good idea. I liked that, and he also played some things very intelligently. He knew he had a plan to deal with the P2. He wanted the Toxic on it. When that went wrong, he had a plan B, which I liked. He had the trick on the Rotom, and that ended up, you know, being the thing that guaranteed him the win in the end. Getting that Choice Scarf onto the P2, locking it into the powerful Recover,
Which led
allowing
Josh
him to
forfeit.
guarantee himself the win. So I think he played intelligently. I think he is deserving of moving up. And, you know, as we said, you know, if he keeps doing this, he's got the confidence now to be even more Jedi with his draft. Get those strange sets in. Get Mr. Mime back into the team. We all want to see it.
Yes, indeed.
And yeah, it'll be nice to see him move even further up the ranks.
Also, I'm not sure why Quagsire would ever run Ice Punch. It's just no point in my opinion.
There is that. There is that.
Yeah, Toxic would have been better, which would have made it potentially a moveset free on Skuntank for the mentioned taunt.
Yeah.
But you know, it's a Quagsire. It's not powerful. Running an ice type coverage move is barely ever useful. Moving on.
Yes.
We have my number 10, which I think is your number 10 as well, and that is
we've got the
Sigi
same
from the
number 10. Yeah.
Blast Burn Rovers.
Yeah, Sigi and the Blastburn Rovers
I'm
sitting
gonna
at
call him
number 10.
Dan because it's easier.
Yeah.
Dan played a third good game. He dealt with Richie's threats very well. He had a lot of interesting sets. I think it was sub Slowking, right? Yeah, was it this game?
Yeah, sub 3 attack Slowking.
Yeah, that was
which
cool.
he played. Richie was wholly underprepared for Slowking, and in combination with that, Dan played his Slowking impeccably. I think.
Yeah.
He played it so well. Great early plays, and just great use of it early on and throughout the game. He did lose it to a misclick, which was just so unfortunate. But these things, you know, these things happen. Dan took it stoically enough. But yeah, you know, I think he was possibly even the better player on the day.
Yeah, that's what both players admitted as well. He played
Yeah,
better.
he was. It's just a shame that his opponent was Richie because he was overpowered.
Yeah, he is just the best draft, and it happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Dan, with his second to last game, by the way, you probably have seen it on the Battle Union Twitter. He still played solid. Maybe he can get his first win next week against Jedi. That's going to be a bottom of the table game, I think, kind of. At least of the power rankings. I'm not sure how the table works out right now. Yeah, definitely a very interesting game. And then, I want to see stuff, Dan. I want to see you win a game.
Yeah, I want to see that win. We want to see that win.
But yeah, Dan had 3 solid performances, which puts him above the 2 people below him. That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we can move on to number 9, which
I
is once
think-
again
yeah. We're so good at
the
this.
same one for us. We have Xenon and the Slovenian Arcanines.
Keldeo. Sword Stance mixed Keldeo. Very interesting idea
Great,
because
I love it. I love
it. More powerful coverage with Altaria. It does not one-shot it. I calc that because I highly doubted that an expert belt plus 2 Adam and Poison Jab would kill him playing Altaria. It doesn't, but it's a 3 KO. But it's an Icy Wind, you know, on a special set. So I like that. I'm not sure why he had Hydro Pump. Aqua Tail or Aqua Jet would have been better in my opinion, because it gets those, and those are cool. Because Aqua Jet would have enabled it to at least take on or to kill Espeon if it's slightly weakened.
Yeah, I mean, I guess maybe there's the potential of him picking up a burn from the Rotom, which would allow him to hit that on the special side and maintain some kind of offensive presence, even if he was burnt.
Yeah, that's fair.
I
yeah,
mean, certainly
it was cool.
Yeah, it was still a very cool set, whichever way you go with it. Swords Dance Keldeo. Always great. Nice to see him get up rocks as well.
Yes.
Finally. And what else did we have here? The speed creeping. I'm sure you're a fan of that, Charlie.
Yeah, boy. Speedy
creep.
Dragalge. I think Gabe should have probably realized that Dragalge wasn't all that bulky after taking like 60% from Waterfall.
Yeah.
That's why we should That's why we calc. That's why there is a showdown calc, and that's why we use it. If something suddenly does a lot more damage than you expect, you might want to hop over to the calc and see why that's a thing that happens.
Yeah.
But yeah, good job on Xenon's part with the speedy Dragalgi. Nazca Dragalgi.
Nazca Dragalgi, Sanic Dragalgi, one might say. On a personal note, nice and Meloetta. I am a huge fan of Meloetta. I love seeing it do work, and it did work.
You wouldn't have a guessed.
Well, there it is. But you know, he managed to get that going at the end. It was almost a little bit touch and go with the paralysis. He nearly, LA Galuxray nearly bringing it back through hacks alone. Unfortunately for Gabe, wasn't able to get 5 para haxes in a row.
I don't think he would have wanted that anyway.
Yeah, quite possibly.
Because that's kind of.
But
gross.
yeah, just a well set up team, very well played by Xenon, and he's back to moving up as we thought he would early on in the season.
Even though his first 2 performances were kind of he just had a very, very solid performance this game. He showed his Xenonness, as in bringing something like SD Kelia, no fear. So yeah, it's cool, and he just moved up by that because of that.
Yeah.
Moving on, we agree once again because we're good at this.
Yeah, we are good at this.
AK Ashton AK anti-Bristol City Fletchlings.
Yes, sitting at number 8. Taking that 3-0 loss to Enzo and the Swiskers.
The Mienshao set.
Oh, so
nice.
Good. So good.
I didn't think of that. I know it gets acrobatics, but I completely forgot about that.
Yeah,
but
swords dance, citrus berry acrobatics.
Yes, the citrus berry is probably the problem. I like the idea. I get his thought process better completely, but maybe no item would have been better.
Yeah.
I understand that he wants a citrus berry because there's a bit of recovery, you can live a Giga Drain and stuff. But still, probably no item would have been better because he has a lot of base power right away, and that's beautiful.
I mean, the thing about it was, if he knew he could live a Giga Drain, which he could, why have the risk of having an item in the first place? Get a massive hit off earlier. Exactly. You know you outspeed, you know you can live. So why halve that one attack that could be the difference between a KO and not having a KO?
Yeah. Also,
either way, you know, very cool.
Yeah, a really cool set. Shout out to that. I really like that. Another thing, he switched in his Mienshao on the Curum after something died, I think, if I recall correctly, or he volt switched U-turn on it. I'm not sure.
No. What he did there was
it wasn't free switching, but then he switched out right away again.
Yeah, he
was fearing the scarf. Why?
He brought in the Mienshao on the Curum, with it having just gone for psychic, and then you can hear in his commentary, he went, "Wait, hang on, what if this thing is scarfed?"
Yeah. Why did you not think about that earlier?
Well, what he then did was switch in Tentacruel.
Yeah, I mean Tentacruel can probably chew a psychic, but
still, I mean, still,
not the best.
I'm not sure how I feel about it. I'm also not sure how I feel about not going for damage on the Curum when he was at +2 with Serp. At the point where he thought he might have lost the game, it might have been better to go for the differential, try and save it and bank on Talonflame to do some work. But you know, these things you can say with hindsight.
Yeah.
He knew that he wasn't going to be able to take it out, so maybe that was his best play. Just try and take something with Talonflame and go for massive damage. He wasn't to know that the Curum was specifically built to take hits from a banded Talonflame.
Smoking Bird.
Yep, Smoking Bird rules. But you know, he's got that one win under his belt. So, and he was taking on a guy who has got to 3-0, so he's looking towards the top of the table. He'll bounce back from this. I'm absolutely certain of that. He's a fantastic battler. Yeah. We all know it.
And he showed creativity, which I like.
Yes, he showed some real creativity. That fantastic Mienshao set. I love that. It was brilliant.
Also, we might go back to last week because he actually explained why he had the thing, the skill swap or whatever it was on the Megalodon.
Yeah.
Fable, get rid of Magic God, and
of course
Aegislash, but I don't think it works.
It doesn't work
I might
on
be wrong,
stance
but I
change.
think it doesn't work.
Stance change.
Yeah, but that's his reasoning. Just gonna throw it in there real quick.
But yeah, I mean, he's showing some fantastic creative flair. I look forward to seeing even more of that because it's starting to work. That Mienshao set did a lot of damage. It didn't come through necessarily on the day, but it's starting to show real promise and real work. Nice in English, me.
Yeah.
But it's starting to work, and I think he's just a little bit more application, and it'll be working absolutely fantastically.
Yeah. I think that's it. I think we can move on to number 7, which do we agree again? Did you change your rankings? I'm not sure.
What do I have?
I have,
Who do I have
Richie from the Liverpool FC.
Yes,
Awesome.
as do I.
We're so good at this, Jesus.
We are. It's going so well. It's going so well.
Richie got his first victory. Yay! But mainly because of his good draft. Which
it's always unfortunate when someone gets a victory but has to go sort of lower down in the power rankings.
I mean, he stayed for me in number 7.
I moved him down 1.
But that's because
based on the performances of others.
Yeah, exactly. This is the point where it's like, how do I do this? Everyone has been doing pretty well. How do I order this? This is hard. Because number 7 still sounds pretty bad, but Richie is not in a bad spot.
No,
he gets first victory over Dan. He preserved his win condition in Kieran Black.
Yeah, that was very, very
important. That's one of the most important things in Pokemon and in this format.
Yeah.
And he did that, so that's awesome.
And he had to because his team was weak to a couple of things. It was fairly Hariyama weak. He luckily neutered it fairly early with a crit, and he was sorely underprepared for Slowking.
Yeah.
Slowking ran train on his team. That's the reason it was the last man standing on CG's team. Unfortunately, it wasn't quite at the range of health it needed to be. I think it was the last man standing.
I don't remember.
I forget. But either way, Richie was fairly weak to those two, but he preserved his win condition till the end, and that's why he was at number 1 in the very first week. It's that powerful draft. He was able to just overpower CG, really.
Yeah.
When you come facing down a Kieran Black and your team's taking a fair amount of damage, there's not a lot you can do.
Exactly.
And he was just able to come back and get that ending sweep with Scarf Kieran.
Can't blame him for having such a good draft.
Yeah,
people could have picked him up as well.
Yeah.
I think that's all we have to say about Richie. There's not a whole
pretty
lot.
Pretty much.
But he got his first win, which I think should be a confidence boost for him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which means more victories, more W's, maybe, hopefully.
Mm-hmm.
I like how I said victories and then the W's. That totally fits. Good job, Shmi.
Of course.
Shmi, yeah. Schady and me.
Nice and
I'm
English,
all over the place.
Schady.
Awesome. Moving on, we have Jack from the Somerset Scissors, the interim manager.
Yeah, he's at 6 for both of us.
And he's only in 6th because other people I couldn't move them down as much. Or, they performed well as well.
Yeah.
Stuff and things. But Jack is in the top group. The top 6 are like really solid group for me right now.
And he just improves every week, doesn't he?
I think this game was not as powerful as the last one.
I don't know. I mean, well, he continues to improve, I think.
Yeah, he had the early game momentum, which was nice, but he let his Gramble get weakened very early and way too easily.
That is true.
Did not like that at all. Gramble was your dedicated Weavile counter, and you just let that motherfucker die. How, why, and what? To a Raichu.
Yeah.
Raichu's not that threatening that you can't switch something else in. Honestly.
Yeah, his decisions concerned that sort of would directly affect Weavile were questionable. There was letting Gramble go so easily.
Yeah.
He left in he had the Rose Raid in, got the KO, in comes Weavile. There isn't a lot he could have done, as it turns out. But, he underestimated Weavile. He was saying, like, he called the pursuit, but he was saying, I don't think it's going to do too much to Roserade. Yeah, it's a Weavile, mate.
Versus a Roserade.
It's going to do a lot of damage.
Yeah.
To be fair, he wasn't to know it was banded at that point.
Yeah. But so,
but even so,
he subbed with Lopunny on the Clefable switch-in. I'm not sure I don't remember what switched out, but on the Clefable switch-in, not a good idea because he could have gotten damage off, and you revealed the substitute for potential later mind games with the Aegislash. Not fan of that, but he made the manly play versus Clefable, which I think only worked because Bice made a misplay. Bice had no reason to Fire Blast, in my opinion. I understand why he did it, of course. He
clearly felt like he needed to make that prediction,
but he didn't. But that's a hindsight thing, really. It happens a lot with everyone.
Yeah, it was a huge play for Jack. Ballsy play, and it's just one of those gambles that worked out. It's like was it last week with the Venusaur's HP Rock on the Mega Pinsir? It's just one of those plays that happened to work out on the day.
And Jack clinched the game against someone who, in my opinion at least, played better. That's interesting.
Yes, I guess. I think, overall though, I think Jack built a solid team.
Yes, indeed. That's
his speed EVs on Lopunny, you happy with that?
Yeah, boy. I am.
And his EVing in general, like on the Vaporeon.
Yeah. Oh,
it was a strong team build.
Yep.
And he played fairly well. I think he played fairly well. He played a fairly good game.
Yeah. Let's hope
with that one big gambler allowing him to win.
Let's hope Sis can copy his team building because Sis is coming back. Hey.
Yes, Sis is coming back, which is very exciting. We're all absolutely thrilled that Sis is back in action.
I guess it's gonna be a thing for the Union News, maybe. I don't know.
Sorry.
Might be a thing for the Union News. I don't know. You have the info.
We'll cover that. We'll cover that in Union News certainly next week. All we'll say for now is that Sis is back around. Jack will be sticking around, but not in a managerial role.
Yeah, he might be a replacement for one of us if we don't have time. We don't know. Yeah, that's gonna be it, Jack. 2 really good performances, and he's just moving up. My number 5, we disagree again. That's nice.
Yes, it's nice to have some disagreement.
It's been a while. Number 5 for me is Gabriel from the LA Galaxy Ray. He moved down again, which is unfortunate, but he mainly suffered from other people moving up and other people just being, in my opinion, just a bit over him. There were no mistakes. As in, he did not say anything gets a move that it doesn't get, or the other way around. So he made his homework. Awesome. The Altaria said he didn't have a nature. He had a neutral nature. Very, very interesting. Very smart decision if you look at it. It might seem weird. I thought it was really. Whenever I see someone with neutral nature, I'm like, are you stupid? Are you okay? But this time it was really well thought out. He had enough attack investment to tweet KO the AV Electros or whatever, or just max HP Electros in general. He had special attack investment to do something, special defense to. You get my point. He had investment to do everything. The set he had could do everything he wanted to. He can't go minus speed because there's a Mega Scissor which outspeeds Dan. He can't go minus defense because there's a Mega Scissor which can bullet punch you and it will kill you if you're minus defense, or at least almost. And you can live a regular one. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I like that. That was really cool. He had a mixed Megaltaria. That's cool. With both stabs. I would have liked to have Psyshock or Psychic on the Espeon, because Calm Mind Keldeo is a thing, very much so.
Yeah.
And after Calm Mind or 2, it can live a Psychic, but not a Psyshock. Unless it packs the berry, of course. But he said Espeon was a counter to Keldeo. I'm not sure if that was just him being all over the place like I am, just saying things while you're recording, it just happens, or if there was him genuinely thinking it's a counter when it's a good check, but that's it. His team didn't have a solid Keldeo switch in, like to a regular Keldeo set, like a Specs or whatever. And his team was also really, really weak to Crocodile. Crocodile could have taught him a new one. I know, of course, Mega Altaria is there, but other than that, his team was incredibly weak to it.
Yeah, I mean, Mega Altaria is nice for both of those, but there wasn't all that much in the way of support for Mega Altaria to help it out taking those hits.
But he put Roost over it, on an overheal battle at the end. I like that because Roost was really important that game. So it evens out the things that I just said, kind of, because he had recovery. Yeah. That's pretty much all I have to say about Gabe. He, of course, got surprised by the SC Keldeo, who wasn't.
Yeah.
He played a solid game. There's nothing bad I have to say about that. There's just the few things that I didn't like the Psyshock Keldeo. Nothing big, honestly. So, no big rant on Gabe this week.
Which I'm sure he'll be happy to hear. My position at number 5, I have Bice and the Twin Leaf Tyrants.
Perfect, my number 4.
Yeah, it's always nice how we can segue into it like that. I like how we're organising this. A lot of good ideas on his team. The Rogue HP Ice Dog Trio. I love it. I absolutely love it. As I said a couple of days ago in the Union News, always great to see these kind of rogue hidden powers on things you don't expect. And HP Ice Dog Trio, it made me laugh, and it worked. It got a nice amount of damage on the Lando.
To the point where Pursuit killed, even if he stayed down
absolutely. With Lando. I also like Spadef Pidgeot, Spadef Mega Pidgeot.
Stop taking points away.
What's that?
Stop taking my points away. I wanted to say something.
Well, you can say something about it as well. I'll just say that I liked it. There was some... What else do I have to say about him? I think Protect on Vaporeon when it was at low health was fairly obvious. I think that Raichu was his play at that point to switch into it. How much difference it would have made, I'm not sure, but I think that was the play. But generally, he used his Mons well. I liked seeing Scarf T-Wave on Raichu. That was an interesting one. Just in case something got a bit too out of control. He made good plays, some good predictions. It was just unfortunate that he was going up against a fairly well-built team in the form of Jack's team, and, losing that gamble with Clefable really sort of cost him fairly heavily. But he's still at a very good position on the table and in the power rankings. And again, he's a player who will be able to bounce back from that. We've said that he's one of the most sort of reliable players going. And this loss I don't think will affect him too badly.
Yeah. My number 4 is Bias, as I said already.
Yeah. Moving swiftly on to that.
I think he had a fully special Dugtrio. I'm not sure how smart that is. But HPS was cool. Spit of Pidgeot, cool. The trapping, he had the idea, I'm not sure if that was his initial idea, but that's how it looked, and that kind of worked out, was to trap the things that take down Clefable. Pursuit, plus the HPIs from the trio, plus Pursuit from Weavile kills Lando. The trio can trap and do a good chunk of damage to Registeel. The trio is not going to kill because it's fucking weak and a bad Pokemon. I don't like the trio. It's weak. But yeah, it was a good idea. He got rid of the counters and checks for Clefable, which led Jack to have to make that manly play. He did not realize how important Clefable was though, and didn't play safely enough with it. He should have probably moonlighted on the on the turn he clicked Fire Blast. It was definitely his overall best play. And his team in general couldn't deal very well with Vaporeon, which we saw in the game. Vaporeon kind of was the MVP for Jack. And yeah, that's pretty much that. But still, I like the ideas he had. And he just didn't play the game too well. I think he said his mind was busy with other things. Understandable, but that's just how it happened. And yeah, I like his ideas and stuff. Moving on to your number 4 because I forgot how to speak English.
Good, always nice when that happens when you're doing some summaries. I find to forget how to speak. At number 4, I have Gabriel and the LA Galaxray slipping down the power rankings for me with the loss to Xenon. Again, we've spoken about some of his sets. That mixed, bulky Mega Altaria, very interesting. Here's the thing. He wanted to have dual Fairy Stab on both sides, and of course the Fire Blast, very useful coverage. I'd have liked to have seen Earthquake, but it would have been difficult for him to fit it on the set. Problem was, it did come back to bite him because he went down to the Arcanine, which he didn't really have too much to hit, and admittedly he went down to a very unfortunate crit when he was going for the Roost. So he might have been able to 1v1 it, but I think the Arcanine had Morning Sun as well. It was a fairly big crit, but if he'd had Earthquake, it might have been a different story. But, he didn't have room for it on the set with the set he wanted. It did everything he needed, and presumably he figured he had other things to deal with the Arcanine. Other things that I enjoyed, Life Orb Gliscor. I like it. I like Life Orb Gliscor. That was a very nice set. The manliest of manly sets.
It's the only set. Just kidding.
No,
just kidding.
Sean. No. You're so close to being fired. You don't even know.
I never used it.
No, I like the Life Orb Gliscor.
Yeah.
I would question running Scarf T-Wave against Xenon's team. It's a slow team.
It's the slowest team in the league by far.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know if you need Scarf T-Wave. But at the end of the day, what really threw him was what really threw all of us, and it was, again, we keep coming back to it, that mixed Keldeo. We can talk and talk until the cows come home about how you need to expect the unexpected in this kind of format, but really, I can't knock him for not expecting that Keldeo set.
Yeah.
It came straight out of left field. It was really sort of just classic Xenon stuff, but even weirder. So I can't hold it against him that he didn't expect it. no one could have expected that, I don't think. There's an argument that we made that he could have wished up at the end and tried to get more hacks on the Meloetta, but really, you have to expect that would have just been delaying the inevitable.
Yeah.
But you know, that's his first loss of the season. Again, a player who's going to be able to bounce back from this. I don't think he's going to take it too hard that he lost to Xenon. Xenon's a fantastic player.
Yeah.
And yeah, he'll certainly be able to come back. He'll be looking for a strong comeback in the next game.
Yeah, that's pretty much that. Moving on to number 3, which for both of us, again, we're agreeing. Nice.
No, we're not.
We're not?
Nope, I don't think so.
It's Frito from the Welchians.
Oh, we are agreeing.
See, I have your list. And you have
Oh, I see. Not bad, not bad.
Yeah, I changed mine around just a bit.
Of course.
Frito lost the game turn 2, I think. Turn 1 and 2 just put him in the back foot. They fucked him massively is what I've written down, so there you go. And from there it was just an uphill battle pretty much. He did not have Mark Punch on his Infernape, which cost him. U-turn was there to get initiative and hit Latios to some extent. Fake out was fair enough, it worked out in the game. I have written down Mark Punch over Fake out, but over U-turn would have probably been a better decision.
Yeah, I mean, Fake Out did do him some good, able
definitely.
to stall out the somewhat unexpected Trick Room, which I don't think he saw coming too much, but Fake Out was useful in that regard. But on balance, Mac Punch was possibly his better option, especially on a team that has Bishop.
Yeah, Bishop and Greninja.
Yeah.
Frito just suffered from having a good opponent in Anima, like a really, really good opponent this week especially.
I think he was just generally sort of a bit outplayed and outpredicted, really, on the day. I should mention, top name for Celebi. I like that.
Was that again?
It was Sir Davos, nice in Game of Thrones reference.
I totally get that, yeah.
Yeah. The one thing I would want to say about his team, I have to disagree with running defensive Sylveon against Anima. Her team is very weak to Sylveon. Offensive Sylveon could have put in a lot of work. So I have to disagree with running defensive Sylveon. That Hyper Voice is going to be hitting so many things so very hard.
Oh my god, she has no switch-ins to that, I just realized
Yeah,
that.
she really doesn't. She really doesn't have switch-ins to a Specs Hyper Voice from Sylveon. So I disagree with running defensive Sylveon. On balance, would it have made too much of a difference? I'm not sure.
I mean, the thing is, defensive Sylveon also does a pretty good job against her. So,
Yeah, I guess.
It's a toss-up, I guess. I'm pretty sure he was struggling with that as well. I'm almost certain.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. I think that's all
these
I
are
have to
just
say.
the decisions that you have to make sometimes.
Yeah, I don't have a lot more about Frito. He
No,
dropped
not
from
really.
a 1 to 3, so rip. He's gonna hate me now and drop me.
Rip. Rip in the finest of kills.
And from now on we just agree. That's nice.
Yeah, we're just agreeing from here
Number
on in.
2, I have Enzo from these Whiskers, and so do you.
As do I.
He showed us that he can prepare twice in a row very well. He did not. It was not a one-time thing that he prepared well for week 2 and did the EV spreads and stuff. No, he made it even better. His Suicune was
flawless.
It was tailored to outspeed Scarf Superior at +2 from the Tailwind.
Yeah.
Awesome. He had special attack investment, of course, because you kind of need that if you're an offensive guy. And he got the momentum up early game, and he kept it up. And that's really important to keep momentum up.
He made very good doubles, very good switches in general. He built his Curum very well.
Yes, the Curum was
so tailor-made to take on some of Eric's biggest threats. And it worked so well, it just sat there.
Yeah,
And tanked hits and got off nice chip damage on things.
Yeah, he thought he could live a high jump kick from Yanchao. I don't think he could have, because it's a Yanchao, and Reckless is a thing, and he would have died.
Yeah, but
maybe
he also
miscalculated something in some way. I don't know. It happens.
Yeah, he also once again showed a very calm head. I wouldn't have been expecting the mean Shao that Eric brought, and I don't think he was either. But he was just able to sort of calmly deal with it. There was a bit of
Well, that's the
shock
last
when
thing
it
I
went
would call
to
Enzo calm.
I don't know, but he kept his head.
Yeah,
there was quite a bit of oh god when Sword Dance happened, but he composed himself and sort of just did what he had to do. Really,
he did deal well.
A very well built team, very well executed, really.
Yeah, and he makes me happy with speed creeping. So
Yes, yes, he does. Schady, of course, is such a huge fan of
I'm
speed
Mr.
creeping.
Speed Creep.
He is the
Speed
speed
Creep
creep
makes Speed
master.
Creep. Speed Creep. Too much words, English.
Words and things.
I can't do it. You get my point. You get the bad
Yeah.
joke. Yeah, that's Enzo. He moved up from number 5 to 2 for me because he showed his third solo performance. Once again, he had the spreads and the sets very, very well tailor-made for his opponent.
Yeah.
And I like that. And that's just, he just deserves to be up there. And he's 3-0, one of the 2 teams. And the second team that's 3-0 is our number 1.
Yep.
Oh, I'm so good at this. Anima from the Golden State Dragons. Last week
she's been creeping up the table.
Last week I said it was a bit of a toss-up between her and Frito. They were at the same spot for me personally. I just put Frito at number 1. But now Anima got the number 1 spot because she beat Frito, and very convincingly, as in she just won the game very early.
Yeah, she outplayed him, really.
The Ladio set was pretty cool. That's what I've written
Yeah,
down.
interesting to see T-Bolt and Charge Beam. It was intriguing, and it worked.
It was
there
really
to take
cool.
on the Empoleon. The Empoleon, which was there to try and take on the Latias. She sort of just took on the thing.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure is actually a thing.
Trick Room was also a really smart decision because that's what I said in the post-draft power rankings. Frito's team is fucking Sonic as shit.
It is.
And then was like, yep, let me just
quick.
fuck you up and run Trick Room.
And, you know, not only
Smart
did she
idea.
run Trick Room, she ran it very well. Her use of Reuniclus was excellent. It was, and, you know, her predictions were on point. The Signal Beam on the Celebi switch in. You know, she just did really well. I really enjoyed seeing T-Spike's Greninja. It wasn't used, but I enjoyed it. You know, no grounded poison types on Frito's team, I believe, looking down it very quickly. Yeah, no grounded poison types. And his only way of getting rid of hazards is defog, which means he'd be getting rid of his own. So T-Spikes would have put nice pressure on him if she had needed it, which turns out she didn't. Yeah, she just built really well overall. She had to sack things to discover Ape's full set. She did that very well.
Which is understandable because Inferno Ape is pretty much impossible to switch into safely.
Yeah.
Because Inferno Ape is incredibly good in this format.
Yeah. And, you know, I think at the range of health that Ape was at towards the end, she could have saved differential by going into Bishop, but not Ninja, but she couldn't take the risk of Mach Punch being a thing.
Yeah.
So, you know, she played the end game very intelligently, came away with the 2-0 win, and, you know, secured her perfect record so far.
Yeah. Just really solid game, 3rd time in a row.
Yeah.
Even though the first game, she kind of benefited from her opponent not playing optimally, but hey, still good games, all 3 of them, and she's just number 1.
Yeah,
And
you know, we
Enzo's
said that she would be
right behind her, but
launching an offensive on the top, and she has done that. She's certainly got there in our power rankings. Now it's very incumbent on her to stay there, which is going to be difficult, of course. That next game is against the other 3-0 record holder, Enzo and the Swiskers. That's going to be a fantastic game to watch.
Yes.
Yeah, really looking forward to that.
So that's gonna wrap up the power rankings, I think.
Yes, I think so.
Fairly short, I think, in comparison. Maybe because we're bad, maybe because we're good. Who knows?
Well, you know, we're making similar points now that our lists are aligning. You know, it makes it easier to agree on things, which is always difficult to agree with Schady on anything.
Okay, I see how it is. That's gonna be it. As always, this is opinionated completely. This is just our opinions. If you have different opinions, leave them down in the comments because opinions are cool if you write them down
always
correctly.
love reading. We always love reading your opinions. Let us know where you agree with us, and of course where you disagree with us. Would you have our lists in that order? You know, obviously people are gonna have different opinions. Let us know. We love reading what you have to say about our views and indeed your views as well.
Whose list was better and why was it mine, for example?
Wow, there it is. There it is. Ooh. How dare you? How dare you, sir?
I'm good at this. So yeah, that's gonna be it. Like we said multiple times, leave your opinions and your own power rankings down in the comments below. Thank you all very much for watching. We do hope you enjoyed. Any last words from you, Shroom?
No, not really. I think all has been said. Nice. Keep letting us know what you think. And yeah, as Schady said, that is going to be it from us. That is going to wrap it up. Remember, games are going to be happening this week. Games I think are going to be going up Friday, Saturday, around then.
Yeah.
And we, of course, will be back on Tuesday with the Union news from that week. So do please make sure to join us then. But as of now, we are going to be heading off. Our final thank you for watching, and yeah, have a great day, and take care, TBU fans. Goodbye.
Goodbye.